Welcome to my channel, Official History of Coins. There are moments in life when a 5 discovery feels like a doorway into a hidden world, where history, mystery, and opportunity come together. Today, we step into that world with excitement, ambition, and the belief that one rare find can change everything. First up, this script is about one coin only. The USA 1972 $half-dollar, a 5 treasure that holds power, history, and value. And today, we dive deep into why collectors chase it, why it's considered valuable, and how high its maximum price can truly go. The USA 1972 $half-dollar coin is more than metal. It's a story frozen in time. It carries the legacy of America's past, the vision of its leaders, and the craftsmanship of its minting era. This single coin is a doorway into the world of rare collectibles and high-value finds. Minted in 1972, this $half-dollar features President John F. Kennedy, a symbol of hope, leadership, and the unforgettable energy of the 1960s. After his assassination in 1963, the United States honored him through this beautiful coin, turning it into a treasured national piece. The reason the 1972 issue stands out is because it comes from a time when coin collecting was booming. The public loved the design. Collectors rushed for clean, sharp strike examples. But only a small number survived in perfect condition, making the top-grade pieces extremely valuable now. This coin was created as part of an ongoing tribute, but the 1972 edition carries its own identity. With 3 mints involved that year, each coin's finished strike and rarity became special. Small variations became powerful value boosters. Collectors today value the 1972 $half-dollar because it represents a moment in American history when unity and remembrance were at their strongest. The coin reflects national emotion, turning it into more than currency. It became a symbol. Why is it valuable? Because collectors always pay high amounts for history, nostalgia, art, and rarity. And when these qualities come together in one coin, its value rises dramatically in auctions, online marketplaces, and private collections. Some 1972 $half-dollars with sharp strikes, brilliant luster, and untouched surfaces have reached surprisingly high collector prices. When stored sealed and preserved properly, their value increases significantly. Serious collectors are always searching for premium condition 1972 pieces. The demand stays strong, and those who understand the power of rarity know that owning one can multiply its worth over time. People often ask, is it really that valuable? And the answer in the collector world is always yes, because value isn't just money. Value is demand, scarcity, condition, and historical weight. And this coin has all of them. A perfectly preserved, high-grade example has even sold for impressive amounts. Collectors with deep pockets don't hesitate when the right coin appears. This is where the big numbers come in. The maximum value? Some top-condition 1972 $half-dollars have realistically reached over $4,000 in the collector market, with exceptional pieces capable of going even higher in private bidding wars. And when the right buyer meets the right coin, the price can soar. If your coin is sealed, certified, and protected, you're already increasing its market worth. The more flawless the surface, the higher the shine, and the stronger the strike, the more money collectors are willing to offer. Should you keep it? Absolutely. A valuable collector coin isn't just an object, it's an investment. Over time, coins like this can escalate in value dramatically, especially when preserved in high-grade condition. Where can you sell it? Private collectors, online auctions, coin shows, and certified numismatic platforms offer excellent opportunities. Rare coins always attract attention, and the 1972 $half-dollar has a powerful pull. Where can you buy more? Reputable auction houses, online numismatic markets, and certified sellers are your best options. But remember, finding one in top condition is rare, and that's exactly why the value is high. Imagine presenting your 1972 $half-dollar to a collector and watching their eyes widen. That reaction alone shows the coin's significance. It proves that you're holding something special, something desirable, something that radiates power. Coins like this come into your life only once in a while. When you have one, treat it like a treasure. Store it well, seal it, protect it, and let its value rise with time. This is not just a coin, this is an opportunity. So take pride in owning the 1972 USA $half-dollar. It's rare, it's admired, it's valuable, and for the right buyer, it can reach impressive amounts. Hold on to it, respect it, and let its story grow, because treasures like this become more powerful with every passing year. Next coin, the 1973 Kennedy $half-dollar, is a coin that deserves serious attention. This is not just pocket change. It's a piece of American numismatic history with real upside. Minted in 3 different variants: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and the San Francisco as proof. This coin has a story, a legacy, and under the right conditions, a powerful collector value. In 1973, the U.S. Mint produced approximately 64.96 million Kennedy $half-dollars at Philadelphia, another 83.17 million at Denver, and around 2.76 million proof versions at San Francisco. These are very large numbers, but that doesn't mean the coin can't become valuable. Far from it. Historically, by 1973, the Kennedy $half-dollar had long since lost its silver content. The composition of the 1973 issue is clad, 75% copper and 25% nickel on the outer layers, with a pure copper core. That's critical to understand because unlike earlier Kennedy halves, which contained silver, this one's value is driven almost entirely by collector demand, condition, and rarity of special varieties. The design itself is a tribute. The obverse features John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse, by Frank Gasparo, shows the presidential coat of arms. That iconic look has made the Kennedy half a favorite among both casual collectors and serious numismatists, and 1973 holds a special place in that continuum. Right now, the current retail/collector value for a typical circulated 1973 Kennedy half is modest. According to sources like CoinTrackers, circulated examples of the no mint mark Philadelphia 1973 $half-dollar sell for about $2.02, while uncirculated business strike versions, higher mint state, can reach up to around $15.15 or more. But that's just the base. For the 1973 S-proof version from San Francisco, CoinTrackers lists values ranging from $3.03 in average proof condition up to approximately $27.27 for high-grade proof coins. That shows that the proof strike, made specifically for collectors, already command a premium. However, for those who collect seriously, the maximum value can shoot much, much higher. Auction data from Great Collections reveals that at least one 1973 Kennedy $half-dollar business strike, graded PCGS MS, 67 sold for $273.90. That's a full step beyond typical uncirculated levels. Even more impressively, some sources note that super high grade and rare examples have traded for as much as $4,894 in past auctions. There are also reports in CoinValue guides of even more extreme cases. According to some numismatic value lookup sites, a 1973 D $half-dollar graded MS 68 has sold for over $11,000. If true, this reflects how powerful grading and condition can be. Now, you may wonder, can this coin become more valuable in the future? The honest answer is yes, in the right circumstances. The 1973 Kennedy $half-dollar is not made of precious metal, so its long-term value won't be driven by metal prices. Instead, its future upside depends on collector demand, condition scarcity, and especially any error or very high-grade examples. Imagine finding a 1973 $half-dollar that's been tucked away, uncirculated, perhaps in a mint set or in a safe, then getting it professionally graded. If it comes back as MS-67 or MS-68, that coin could be a serious asset, something that might command thousands of dollars rather than just a few dollars. Collectors are always on the lookout for those premium quality survivors from mass production years, and they pay when they show up. Furthermore, proof versions, especially strong cameo or deep cameo proofs, if you can find one, could see increased demand as their population in pristine state is limited. As more collectors target these sweet spot coins, the competition could drive prices upward. Let's talk motivation. If you own a 1973 Kennedy HalfDollar, don't dismiss it. Even though they were minted by the tens of millions, only a fraction remain in brilliant, uncirculated condition. If yours shows great luster, strong detail, and no wear, you potentially hold a collector gem. It's not just a 50-cent coin. It could be a stake in a growing collector market. And even if you don't have an MS-68 candidate, an uncirculated MS-60, MS-63, or MS-65 coin is still attractive to many beginning and intermediate collectors. These grades are very attainable, and the premium over face value is real. That means your 1973 half could be more than just a keepsake. It could be a tangible investment. When thinking about selling one, consider professional grading. Having the coin slab by a trusted certification service like PCGS or NGC could unlock its full monetized potential. A well-graded coin sells much more confidently than one raw in a box. Plus, grading gives potential buyers trust and helps you tap into the national and global collector community. Also, don't overlook error coins or varieties. If your coin has a double die, offset or strike, or other mint anomaly, that could massively increase its worth. Such errors are rare, and serious collectors pay top dollar for them. Looking ahead, as the years go by, fewer high-grade, untouched 1973 halves will survive. That natural attrition and growing interest in mid-20th century-clad coins sets a foundation for value appreciation. In some decades, the MS-67 or MS-68 examples may become even more coveted, especially by Kennedy series collectors who are completing high-grade sets. To sum it up, the 1973 Kennedy HalfDollar is definitely valuable, not just now, but potentially much more so in the future, especially under the right condition and certification. Its current market sees typical values of a few dollars for circulated pieces, but with high-grade or proof examples going into the hundreds or even thousands, the upside is real. So if you find one in your collection, don't toss it aside. Clean it gently if you must, store it carefully, and if it shines, think about getting it graded. That 1973 HalfDollar might just be one of those rare gems that grows in worth over time. Next coin in 1974, the U.S. Mint produced Kennedy HalfDollars in large quantities. About 201,596,000 at Philadelphia and 79,066,300 at Denver. There was also a proof version struck in San Francisco, with a mintage of 2,612,568. Because these numbers are huge, for most people the 1974 HalfDollar is relatively common. Yet that doesn't mean its value is negligible. A lot of people want to buy 1974 Kennedy HalfDollars, primarily collectors rather than everyday users. On the collector side, demand comes from those completing Kennedy series sets, especially people who want uncirculated or proof examples. Because so many were made, it's not super rare, but the graded coins, especially the high-grade ones, attract serious interest. Right now, its current value depends a lot on condition. According to coin trackers, a 1974 Kennedy HalfDollar in average circulated condition is worth about 51 cents, while a higher mint state, MS, coin can reach up to around $2.53. If you have a 1974 D Denver Mint coin, those in uncirculated condition are often listed around $3.58 or more according to USAcoin book. For the proof 1974 S version, USAcoin book gives an estimated value of $4.91 or above for typical proof pieces. So is its value really high or low? For most pieces, the value is modest, just a little more than face value for circulated coins, and a few dollars more for uncirculated or proof versions. But there is real potential for serious value when you get into rare varieties and top-tier grades. That's where the excitement for collectors comes in. Historically, the 1974 Kennedy HalfDollar is interesting. By then, the HalfDollar no longer contains silver. It's a clad coin made of copper-nickel outer layer and a copper core. The design, President John F. Kennedy on the obverse, and the presidential seal on the reverse continues the iconic look first introduced in 1964. 1974 was also a transitional year. According to numismatic sources, this was just before the U.S. Mint began producing the bicentennial half-dollar in 1975 to 1976, which featured a completely different reverse design and a dual date, 1776 to 1976. That gives the 1974 coin a kind of historical significance. It's one of the final regular Kennedys before the bicentennial change. But the story gets even more compelling when you look at rare varieties. One of the most famous among collectors is the 1974 D-double die obverse. On that variety, letters in the phrase "In God We Trust" are prominently doubled, especially the Russ and Trust. For that variety, PeaceGS reports an auction record of $575 for a coin graded MS66. That shows that even among a high mintage year, real rarity and high grade can drive serious value. Even more, according to a CoinValue site, a flawless 1974 half-dollar in very high grade. They mention MS68, once sold for as much as $8,000 in auction. That's an incredible number, not for a run-of-the-mill example, but for one that's essentially perfect and very well preserved. And recent auction data backs up strong collector interest. On the numismatic portal, there are records of 1974 half-dollars graded MS67 selling for $180 to $720 depending on the exact piece and certification. That underlines the existence of a real, active market for high-grade coins. So yes, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is valuable, especially in the right condition. It's not just common pocket change for collectors. It can be a meaningful asset. What really motivates collectors is this. If you have a 1974 half-dollar that looks sharp, with luster, nice strike, and nowhere, you might have a coin that could be graded by a respected service like PCGS or NGC and sold to serious collectors. Once it's graded, its value can jump from a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands, depending on how perfect it is or if it's a rare variety. To maximize that potential, you should carefully preserve your coin. Don't clean it aggressively, because that can ruin its numismatic value. Store it in a protective holder, and consider submitting it for grading. If it comes back as MS66 or higher, or if it's one of those double die rarities, you could be looking at a very valuable piece. There's also future potential. While clad coins like this don't have precious metal value, the demand from Kennedy series enthusiasts remains strong. As more collectors aim to complete high-grade sets and fewer pristine 1974 half-dollars remain untouched, the long-term outlook for an MS-graded version is very bullish. Over time, coins that survive in gem condition could become even more desirable. In short, don't ignore a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar just because it's common in numbers. What matters is condition, variety, and preservation. If you play smart, your half-dollar could be more than just a piece of history. It could be a real asset. If you want to turn this into a YouTube video, picture opening an album, spotlighting a shiny 1974 piece, zooming in on its surfaces and potential doubling under a loop, then walking your viewers through what makes it special, how to check for value, and why they should never toss a seemingly ordinary coin aside. That's your hook. History plus hidden value plus potential profit. At the end of the day, a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar can absolutely be a treasure, one that many people are hunting for, and one that, in the right hands, could be more valuable than anyone might think at first glance. Second coin, the 1989 P. Kennedy half-dollar, is a very interesting coin. Yes, it's valuable, and under the right conditions, it could be more than just a piece of history. It could be a real collectible gem. Here's its story, why people care, where to buy and sell it, and what its future value might be. In 1989, the Philadelphia Mint struck a large number of Kennedy half-dollars, about 24,542,000 of the P-Mint variety. That high mintage means a lot of these coins are out there, but that doesn't mean they can't be collectible. Many were saved in mint sets, and collectors especially look for uncirculated or high-grade versions. The design is the familiar Kennedy profile on the obverse, created by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse bears the presidential seal by Frank Gasparo. The metal composition for this 1989 P coin is modern clad, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. Its weight is about 11.34 grams with a diameter around 30.61 millimeters. Why was it made? By 1989, KennedyHalfDollars were long established as part of U.S. coinage, and this coin continued the tradition. The 1989 issue represented a time when half-dollars were still being minted for circulation, but also preserved for collectors via annual mint and proof sets. The Kennedy design remained a powerful symbol, not just as money, but as tribute to JFK's legacy. So how many people want to buy this coin today? The demand is mostly among collectors, people building date sets, Kennedy series collections, or interested in uncirculated modern coins. Because so many were made, it's not a rare date, but the real demand arises for high-grade, MS, examples, or special varieties. As grade goes up, fewer coins meet that standard, and serious collectors will pay more. What is the current value of a typical 1989 P Kennedy half-dollar? According to USAcoin book, an uncirculated P mint 1989 half in mint state can start around $4.91 or more. According to CoinValue Checker, Business Strike 1989, P halves and standard grades go from very low, near face, up to $11 for some mint state coins. But the real value shines when you get certified, high-graded coins. On the PCGS CoinFacts page, there's a reported auction record of $3,350 for a 1989 P Kennedy half-dollar graded MS68. That's a big number. It proves how dramatically value is tied to condition. Yes, the value can be really high, but only in top grades. For typical coins, circulated or low grade, the value stays modest because of that huge mintage. But when a coin is uncirculated, with no wear, with strong luster, or certified as a high MS grade, collectors will absolutely pay for it. Should you keep your 1989 P half-dollar? If it's just a circulated piece, it might not be worth hanging on to for a huge gain. But if it's an uncirculated condition, it could be very smart to hold, especially if you're interested in grading. Even if it sits in your collection for years, its condition could make it more valuable later as high-grade examples become scarcer in the market. Where can you buy a 1989 P Kennedy half-dollar? There are a few good places: online coin dealers, eBay listings, auction sites, and numismatic marketplaces. To maximize authenticity and value, look for certified coins from trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. Raw, ungraded coins can be bought more cheaply, but grading can unlock far more value later. Where can you sell one? Similar places: online auctions, coin collecting marketplaces, or through local coin shops or shows. If it's graded, it will attract more serious collectors and likely higher prices. Even private collectors could be interested in a strong example. Is a 1989 P Kennedy half-dollar really worth that much? Absolutely, in the right form. The basic versions may not fetch astronomical values, but the high-grade ones, particularly MS67 or MS68, absolutely can. That makes it a worthwhile coin to examine closely if you have one or find one. Should it be sealed or slabbed? Yes, if you're serious about maximizing value, you should consider having it graded and sealed by a professional service. A raw coin, no matter how nice, rarely reaches the premium that a certified coin does. Plus, certification gives buyers confidence and increases your potential buyer pool. In terms of its future potential, the 1989 P half-dollar has solid upside, especially for gem quality pieces. As more collectors chase pristine Kennedy halves, the price for top-graded specimens could rise further. Even though it's not made of precious metal, the numismatic value is what drives the market, and grade scarcity is powerful. Here's the motivating insight. If you find or own one of these coins in very good condition, and you can get it graded, you might be holding something that could be far more valuable than its face value suggests. You're not just holding 50 cents in your hand. You're holding a piece of American history, a Kennedy tribute, and possibly a collectible that could bring serious return. Imagine submitting it for grading and getting a result like MS67 or MS68. Picture the excitement of listing it, drawing in serious collector interest, and seeing it sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on market conditions. That potential is real, and it's entirely possible because that auction record shows what the top end can reach. If you want to keep it, protect it. Use a flip, capsule, or holder. Avoid handling it too much and store it in a dry, safe place. Treat it like the treasure it could be. And if you decide to sell later, slab coins tend to get more eyes and better bids. This coin isn't just change. It's a collectible, a piece of JFK's legacy, and potentially a strong numismatic investment. So don't dismiss it. Give it a close look, consider grading, and let your 1989 P. Kennedy HalfDollar shine. Next coin, the 1990D Kennedy HalfDollar, is a modern clad coin that, under the right conditions, holds real value. Not just in terms of money, but as a collectible piece of American history. Let me walk you through its history, why collectors want it, how valuable it can truly be, and what your best moves are if you own one. In 1990, the United States Mint produced 20,096,242 of the Kennedy HalfDollars at its Denver facility. That's a large mintage, meaning many of these coins were made, but that doesn't automatically mean they're worthless to collectors. On the contrary, when you start dealing with mint state coins, things get interesting. This coin is part of the Kennedy HalfDollar series, which was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. The obverse design, featuring Kennedy's profile, is by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse, with the presidential seal, is by Frank Gasparo. By 1990, Kennedy halves were no longer made of silver. Instead, the coin is clad, composed of a core of pure copper and outer layers made from a copper-nickel alloy, 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel. The primary reason the 1990D HalfDollar was minted was to continue serving both collectors and limited circulation needs. By that time, HalfDollars were not commonly used in everyday commerce, but they remained in demand for mint sets and for people who collected Kennedy series coins. Because Kennedy is such an iconic figure, each HalfDollar carries symbolic weight, and for many, owning one feels like holding a piece of the president's legacy. Now, many people do want to buy the 1990D HalfDollar, but not necessarily for spending. Collectors who build date sets, Kennedy series sets, or who are hunting mint state coins are the main buyers. High-grade examples are especially sought after because, despite the large mintage, only a fraction survive in pristine, uncirculated form. So what's the current value of the 1990D Kennedy HalfDollar? In typical circulated condition, CoinTrackers says it's worth around 76 cents. But if you have a mint state version, one that looks like it came straight from the mint without wear, the value can go up to around $5.05 plus. According to USAcoin book, an uncirculated MS Plus mint state, 1990D HalfDollar could be worth $3.58 or more. That might sound modest, but here's where the real potential lies. For high certified grades, the value can skyrocket. According to price charting, a 1990D Kennedy HalfDollar graded MS67 has sold for $852, and MS68 reached $1,023, and MS69 went for $1,228, and even an MS70, essentially perfect, hit $1,535. That's powerful, and it shows how much collectors prize top-grade pieces. Why is it so valuable in those grades? First, mint state examples in high grade are rare because many of the 20 million coins were circulated, handled, scratched, or otherwise degraded. Coins that survived unscathed in perfect shape are precious. Second, the Kennedy series has a strong following. Collectors want gem coins that showcase the design beautifully, sharp details, full luster, no contact marks. Third, modern coins without precious metal content rely entirely on numismatic demand, and for the right coin, that demand can be intense. Is the 1990D Kennedy HalfDollar really that valuable? Yes, absolutely in the right condition. For a normal, circulated coin, the value isn't dramatically high. But for a high-grade, certified example, The value is very real, and those premiums are not just hypothetical. The auction results back this up. So, if you own one, should you keep it? If your coin is in circulated condition, it's fine to hold it, but don't count on huge appreciation unless you find one in exceptionally good shape. But if your coin looks unblemished with strong details, good strike, and nice luster, you should very seriously consider having it graded. Where can you buy a 1990 HalfDollar? Look at reputable coin dealers, online or local, auction platforms like Heritage or eBay, but check seller ratings and numismatic marketplaces. For buying high-grade certified coins, look for slabs from PCGS, NGC, or similar grading services. That's where serious collectors transact. If you want to sell, the same places work, auction sites, coin dealers, or collector forums. But your best chance to maximize value is when the coin is certified. A raw coin may attract casual buyers, but a slabbed MS-67 or better can bring in serious bidders. Should the coin be sealed, slabbed? Yes, if you want the maximum value. Professionally grading and sealing the coin guarantees its authenticity, preserves its state, and dramatically improves buyer confidence. When collectors bid on high-grade coins, they prefer certified pieces. The future potential is strong. Over time, as more collectors search for high-grade modern Kennedy halves, the demand for top-tier 1990 D coins could increase. High-grade survivors become rarer as people open sets, break out coins, or mishandle them, making those preserved gems more desirable. Imagine submitting your 1990 D HalfDollar for grading, getting back a slab labeled MS-67 or MS-68, and then listing it in a collector auction. The excitement, the competitive bids, that could lead to a payout far beyond its face value. This isn't just change, it's a potential treasure. But you don't need to dream too big. Even an MS-65 or MS-66 coin is valuable to the right buyer. That means even if your coin isn't perfect, it can still be a meaningful collectible with some worth. You're not just sitting on 50 cents. There's real numismatic upside. And there's another motivator. Holding a coin like this means preserving history. It's a piece of the Kennedy legacy and a $50 that represents a time when Kennedy's image was still central to U.S. coinage. For many, that heritage is priceless, and collectors are willing to pay for it. Finally, if you decide to hold, be smart. Store it carefully in a coin holder, capsule, or flip. Keep it away from moisture, oils, and rough surfaces. If you're sending it for grading, choose a trusted service and make sure to photograph the coin's condition beforehand. In conclusion, the 1990 D Kennedy HalfDollar is definitely valuable, particularly when uncirculated or graded at a high level. Its maximum value, in exceptional certified condition, is very real, potentially over $1,000. If you own one, treat it like a piece of treasure, think about grading, and know that with the right care, you could be looking at something much more than pocket change.